In a world full of big box hotels, there's something pretty special about staying at a brand new oasis resort, which just so happens to be a 700-year-old fort. The world needs more properties like this. Welcome to Fort Burwara. If you would like to know the exact rate that I paid for my stay, or my next 5 videos in queue, please check out the description below. And if you're new here, hi there and welcome to the channel. My name is Kevin. The internet needs more honest content, plain and simple, and that's why I'm here. I make airline trip reports, high-end hotel reviews, and cruise ship tours as well. I self-fund all of my videos, and I don't alert any company that I'm coming, because I want to have as normal of an experience as possible. That means that in this video, I'm going to give you nothing more than my own personal, honest, and unbiased opinion. The middle of nowhere is a place precisely located halfway between the east and the west, which is sounding a bit like a discount song lyric. Anyway, that's where we begin our video today. It's a destination where we find more and more travelers yearning to visit. A place where you'll have the chance to fully disconnect from life, reconnect with nature, find yourself, etc., etc. As taught to us, of course, by Eat, Pray, Love. There is one small problem that generally accompanies locations in the middle of nowhere though. The nowhereness of it all. Everyone is looking to rediscover themselves until they realize there's no spa or air conditioning. Enter Six Senses. Today's hotel is a bit of a drive. Leaving Jaipur now, we're heading around 3 hours to the south, where a true oasis awaits us. Six Senses, though it may be owned by a big old hotel group now, is one of the pioneers in the upscale, middle-of-nowhere market. Ninh Van Bay in Vietnam, Ziggy Bay in Oman, Yau Noi in Thailand, all properties which allow you to escape from the world without leaving any creature comforts behind. What connects these 3 properties, though? Well, it's that they were all open before 2010, before Six Senses got big, so to speak. I have read and had sometimes wondered myself if Six Senses was destined to turn into a corporate cookie-cutter wellness resort brand. As we pull into the gates of the Six Senses Fort Burwara, I can tell you with some level of certainty that I'm no longer wondering about that, and that's actually my first big point. The world needs more hotels like these. The evolution of Six Senses is one that is exciting for the industry as a whole, and I believe will honestly drive development for years to... You know what? Let's put a pin in this. We didn't even step inside yet, and here I am getting existential. My apologies. For now, let me just welcome you to Fort Burwara. The arrival experience here is meant to be, and is, pretty ceremonious. You are literally pulling up to a fort. Once you get out of your car, you'll be whisked through a maze of walkways, elevators, and alleys before arriving at reception, which is inside a palace, by the way. It'll hit you pretty quick that this is not your average hotel. The attention to detail and beautiful finishings are evident from first glance. Even the parking structure is pretty beautiful to look at. But there is a lot, and I mean a lot more to this place than meets the eye. Opened in October of 2021, the fort has just 48 rooms on offer, and it's the result of a 10-year restoration effort which saw the original structures restored and linked together, all the while preserving the outer 5-foot-thick wall. Within the fort, there are actually 2 palaces and 2 temples. Of the palaces, we have Mardana Mahal and Zanana Mahal, the men's and women's palaces respectively, which are very different from each other in design. The men's palace has become the reception hall and is where you'll have your welcome ceremony. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy India properties, feel free to click the link above or in the description for my India playlist, which will have around 25 videos by year's end. Complete with a blessing, a chant, a delicious wood apple tonic, and, let's be honest, a bathroom break after your 3-hour drive, it's a fitting way to be welcomed to the fort. Within the men's palace, behind the reception area, is also one of the most beautiful venues that I've seen in quite a while, the Rajawat Room, which we'll explore in detail later on. Before we head over to the gorgeous pool deck, maybe this is a good time to get a lay of the land. Fort Barwara is located in the far east of Rajasthan, just around 20 miles from Madhya Pradesh. As I mentioned, it's just under a 3-hour drive from Jaipur, and around 5 or 6 hours drive to either Agra or Delhi. Originally a war outpost, the fort was built in the 14th century and has seen the village grow up around it since then, with the Chowth Mata Temple dating back to the turn of the 19th century just across the lake from the fort. The temple is one of the oldest in Rajasthan and is a major draw in the area for local tourism. Zooming in further, we can get a better sense of the layout. The men's palace is here, the women's palace is here, and the majority of the rooms and pool here. For reference sake, we arrived by driving up to here, and then made our way through this maze before reaching Mardana Mahal. My room, by the way, is back over here. Okay, it's nearly 110 degrees today, so it's the perfect time to head to the pool. As we look around, I'll tell you a bit about how this all came to be. The fort has traditionally been owned by Rajasthani royalty. In 2011, Prithviraj Singh, a member of the owning family, decided it was high time to bring the fort back to its glory days, and then some. He hired Parul Zaveri and her late husband Nimish Patel to lead the restoration. Over the centuries, the fort was used as a war station, at various times housing troops, arms, or ammunition, occupied by whichever royal house had control of the region at the time. Following the arrival of the British, the main grounds of the fort, besides the palaces, were taken back by nature, so to speak. As we're walking through, I should mention that this area is part of Rani Bagh, which is a lunch and dinner casual dining venue poolside. In Parul's words, quote, "When Prithviraj first approached us, the site was a scary place to step into, but Nimish went everywhere to take pictures and to study the extent of the damage," unquote. Following a great deal of studying, a plan was created, and over the next 10 years, the site would be painstakingly restored. The couple brought in conservation experts, landscaping designers, and the pair of Haley Mitchell and Samantha Eads for the interior architecture and design. Noting that one of the most difficult things about the project was knowing what, both traditionally and structurally, could actually be done. Where could they add windows? Where would doorways not interrupt the traditional flow? For this, a bevy of highly skilled traditional artisans were brought in to consult on the layout and the materials that would be used. Now, we all know, hopefully we all know, that I am the first one to call out BS when a company gets a bit too lofty with its ethos and corporate language. But something from Sixth Senses struck me here. Quote, "We work with our property owners to make smart use of land topography, orientation, and renewable building materials to create spaces that are vibrant and alive," unquote. That quote is not about this property. it's just part of how they strive to operate. Here, that really resonates and is a good place for me to wrap up my first big point. It's one thing to build a modern hotel next to a historic relic. It's something entirely different to build a hotel inside of one. Now, I'm not suggesting that we should go turn the Parthenon into a Waldorf or give the keys of Ephesus to Amon, but there are certainly some beautiful and likely dilapidated relics like this one, which would net benefit from a little bit of newfound TLC, not to mention the effect it could have on the communities around them. On this end of the pool deck, there's a breezy outdoor lounge which has views looking out over the Chowth Mata Temple. The restoration of the original facade and the stonework is really one of the more striking things about the property to me. Ever wondered why I and other content creators ask you to click that thumbs up button and subscribe incessantly? Well, it's for two reasons. First, it's really easy to forget, so this is your gentle reminder. Secondly, it really does help the channel grow by increasing engagement. So please, click it, subscribe, and share with friends and family. If you'd like to support even further, my Patreon is linked in the description below. Thanks very much in advance. Okay, time to mosey on over to my room for this stay, which was a sanctuary suite. At 753 square feet, or 70 square meters, this is their smallest room on offer. While I do love many of the metalwork touches of whimsy, my face was missing. A pretty stark detail that I wouldn't expect to be overlooked. That aside though, as we head into my room, let me talk about my second big point. The rooms are just incredible. Not completely faultless, for sure, I'll address that in a bit, but overall, they're the perfect mix of modern and heritage, and the quality of materials used, especially all of the woodwork, is impressive. For any of you that saw my Six Senses Uluwatu video last year from Bali, I'll admit that that room was worrying for me, because it seemed like such a big departure from something that could be known as a Six Senses style. But this room though, I think strikes a nice balance between that older all-wood villa feel and modern-day facilities. I'll let you explore the room, and I'll be back in a few minutes with my favorite and least favorite details about the room. Okay, let's get into the details, and we will start with the best. First, it's the sense of how well curated the room is. I feel like a similar thing has been in my favorites part about every room in the past couple of videos, but here, it's the way that the designers have seemingly mixed the cultures together in every piece. No matter where you look, it's part Safari Lodge, part Rajasthani Fortress, and small part maybe, English Estate. The second detail that I love are the intricate patterns found throughout the room. Authenticity often gets lost in modern spaces when it's the same motif repeated over and over and over. Here, the variety is enough that it gets the point across pretty well. Lastly, the canopy netting. This is a very personal one since I cannot stand sleeping under netting. I appreciate how breezy the setup is, allowing the guest to either just tuck it away, or in this case, perhaps even allowing someone like me to actually use it, since it incorporates the side tables and doesn't feel like you're in a white knit prison. Now, onto the details that I don't like. There are 3 of them, and one is a biggie. First up are the doorknobs, if you will. I actually do love the design. They're clever and continue with that bit of whimsy. But holy Moses, you need to be careful when you're walking around. I got jabbed by one of these more than once. Second, this may be more related to my third detail than I can accurately judge, but the bathroom was ungodly hot midday. There are no air ducts in the bathroom for the AC, and the outdoor shower area isn't well insulated, so it just radiates heat and bakes all day long. Lastly, the AC itself. Why, here, in the middle of the desert, must it be the AC? Let me just introduce you to the spa and then I'll explain the story. The spa is located in and around the Women's Palace and is by far the most stunning structure inside and out of the entire fort. I did have a treatment here. It was good, but not quite as good as Six Senses Samui. But that's not the story. After my massage, I had a bit of tea, and then just wandered around for quite a while, enjoying the atmosphere of the areas that are within and surrounding the spa. So about the AC. There were 2 units in my room. One in the living room and the other for the bedroom. The living room unit worked fine. In the bedroom though, it just sucked. Throughout check-in day, I noticed that it was warmer in there, but I just figured it needed time, since when I arrived, it felt like the AC had just been turned on. By the time I got back after dinner, that's when I could really start to feel it. I feel like I talk about AC problems far too often, and it's frustrating that a place like this, that is designed to sleep, has problems like this. So I'm just going to give you a Cliff Notes version. After I got back from dinner, I tried a bunch of different settings over an hour. Tried to open and close certain doors. Didn't work. Called to ask someone to fix it. 2 guys came, worked for 10 minutes, said wait 10 minutes, and after that, you'll be good. Nothing changed. Called again. Guys came again. Said wait 20 minutes for something else to work, and it'll be good. Guess what? Yeah, nothing changed. It's now around 10 p.m., and the bedroom is around 80 to 85 degrees. By the way, I now travel with one of those laser thermometer things, so in the future you'll have actual visuals for stuff like this. Anyway, I called again. The duty manager called me and said that they were preparing another room. I mentioned that I didn't really want to move, but she implored me that I come and at least see it. Okay. It was just 2 rooms down the hall. I went inside, and to their credit, there were like 5 housekeepers in there at 10 p.m., which is impressive. But the room clearly had just had the AC turned on moments sooner, and was even hotter than my other room. Not knowing if this one was going to actually work correctly or not, I asked if the engineers knew if there was another way to fix mine. They didn't. So I just went back to my original room and sweated it out. The duty manager specifically said to me that she would contact me in the morning to, quote, make the problem right. I had a really crappy sleep, obviously. The next day, I was out filming from sunrise until around 10 a.m. Newsflash, not that hard to spot me. I'm literally walking around inside a fort. I was never approached though. At this point, it was whatever. I assumed something would be done at checkout. When I did check out, there were 2 very deliberate details which really irked me. First, I paid my bill for the room, dinner, and my massage. No manager in sight. I signed the bill, stood up, and oh, there you are, a different duty manager. He claimed that he'd been looking for me all morning. He apologized, offered absolutely no service recovery of any sort, and said one thing in passing that really pissed me off. Something along the lines of, "You know, we've had problems with the AC in the rooms surrounding yours, but we never knew that yours specifically had a problem as well." All that tells me is that you knew that your $800 per night rooms had a problem, but you couldn't be bothered to check them all. Gotcha. Let's head back to the men's palace and take a look at the Rajawat room, which is actually a series of rooms, nooks, and intimate spaces spread across the palace, which I genuinely loved. Each nook had a completely different feel to it, which was part of the allure. Some were moody, some were handsome, some were modern, and some old school, but all still, you know, in that same palette. As we look at some of the finer details, I'll touch on my third big point. The level of service needs to match the level of hotel. Here, besides the less than effective duty manager, service just felt a little bit flat and a little bit unpolished. The exception to this is probably my gem, the Six Senses equivalent of a personal concierge who was fantastic in most regards. If you saw my Alila Fort Bishangar video, you'll note that I complained about the service there as well. Here's the difference though. That property was less than a third of the price of Six Senses. It was almost excusable to have less than polished service there. Here, it's just a bit disappointing when you're wowed by the facility, but just feel like staff, in a very top-down way, aren't rising to the occasion. Especially when you consider the fact that this is the most expensive hotel that I've ever stayed in India. Dinner is coming soon, but first a beautiful sunset, for which I went to the roof. Fun fact, you're not actually allowed to be on the roof, it turns out, despite the fact that there's a beautiful staircase leading up to it. Strange. Also a bit ironic that they found me up there. Anyway, I was able to see what I wanted to see before I got chased away. I'm certainly not suggesting you should do something that you're not supposed to, but the roof might just have the best views of the two palaces side by side. Just saying. In front of the women's palace, there's an impromptu bar and lounge of sorts which opens at sunset. Admittedly, they need to put a bit more effort into this space. A quick bit about Six Senses. They began with a mission to create an upmarket wellness retreat brand in 1995, under the direction of founder Sonu Shivdasani, who sold Six Senses to Pegasus Capital in 2012. He's now the owner of Sovina Resorts. In 2019, IHG, the parent company of Intercontinental, bought Six Senses as part of their major effort to focus on more upmarket properties. Since the acquisition, the Six Senses pipeline has exploded a little bit. They currently have 25 properties, with 22 officially in the pipeline, but unofficially, I've read that that number may be as high as the mid-30s. One of the more beautiful modern features of the hotel are the starry night skies installed over the grotto. Okay, time for dinner at Quartile. Quartile is the all-day multi-cuisine restaurant. They did have some Indian fare on the menu, but none of it was speaking to me, so I went full Italian, assuming that they would have some decent Western food, and that definitely did not disappoint. They do have a private dining facility, or rather a private dining program, which could basically be anywhere around the fort, but I think that not having a small, specialty Indian venue is a big miss. I would have loved to see what a modern Six Senses full thali looked like. In the courtyard adjacent, there were nightly musicians, though they were more of a background act, not performance acts like most of the resorts I stayed at. I do love a desert sunrise. And especially all of that gorgeous golden light as it starts to touch all of the fort. Okay, time for breakfast at Quartile, which is a beautifully decorated open space facing courtyards on both sides. Breakfast was due to open at 7 o'clock, and the doors were in fact open then, but the actual buffet wasn't ready until around 7:15 or 7:20. There was the small buffet on offer, as well as a separate a la carte menu. To me, this buffet is in a category that I like to call, quote, let's spread everything out and put 300 glass jars of stuff in between and it'll look like a never-ending sumptuous spread, unquote. But with the a la carte menu as well, it was more than sufficient. Okay, so as we have a few last looks and check out the fitness center, let's see if I can't wrap this up neatly. In short, it's spectacular, full stop. Just by looking at the facilities, I'm sure that you already know for yourself if this is a place that's worth the journey to get there. I know it's quite a long ways, but I do think that it would be smart for them to offer inclusive, or at least more reasonable transfers from Jaipur. For Toyota Innovas, they charge $200 in each direction, and for Velfires, they charge $600 in each direction. If you know car hire prices in India, even considering 5-star hotel car hire prices, these are a bit much. If you're doing the full Golden Triangle, and you already have a private driver, or you're self-driving, then it's a bit of a no-brainer if you enjoy this type of heritage property. Overall, it's just a beautiful property, and I think it's proof that the industry is in fact going in this direction of restoration, albeit slowly. By no means am I saying that Six Senses is cheap or accessible to the masses, but it is certainly a lot cheaper than many other brands who would easily charge double or triple for a similar property. I really look forward to checking out more of Six Senses' other newer properties, including one that's here in India, Six Senses Vana, which is a ways to the northeast of Delhi, at the base of the Himalayas. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please be sure to click that thumbs up button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my twice weekly videos, which come out every Thursday and Saturday. I'll see you next time aboard the world's longest commercial flight from Singapore to New York JFK in business class. Oh, and thanks for watching until the end.